Now it's time for Made in the Northwest.
Today we're out at Pacific Crest Custom Cabinetry, building cabinetry. Let's go have some fun. All right, we're down here at Pacific Crest Custom Cabinets. Brian, thanks for having us.
You bet, thanks for coming.
This is great. I love you guys' cabinets and how you use technology to really build stuff in here. It's a lot different than a lot of the old traditional cabinet shops.
Yeah, we use a lot of the same methods, the same quality control as you would at a cabinet shop, and everything really is made by hand, as you'll notice in here, just with the aid of current technology and machinery, just to speed it up a little bit and to cut out that human error side of it as well.
Nice.
The machinery behind us is an optimized automated panel saw, or a beam saw it's called, and those optimizations come in. Our operators are able to load the programs up, and then the pieces come out plus or minus about a ½ millimeter with manufacturing information that feeds the rest of our system here and lets everybody know where does the part go next, who's it for, what has to be done with it. Nice. We don't use paper cut lists in a lot of areas, and so people aren't looking for information. It's a modern manufacturing process.
All right. See, we got some cut parts.
We got some cut parts here. So after the parts come off the saw, most of the parts that go into a kitchen or cabinetry aren't what you see. So you have the doors and drawer fronts and finished end, but there's a ton of parts inside those cabinets that make it structural. And a lot of people misunderstand that cabinets are made of solid wood, but actually solid wood is not a very good material to make most of your cabinets out of it. It expands, it cracks, it blows up, and so you want to use an engineered material, whether it's plywood, like Armor Core plywood or 9-ply or apple ply even, or a furniture board. Now this is a very high quality modern material, not like we all used to run down to
shelving stuff, right?
The shelving stuff back in the day, and this is a much different product than that.
All right, we're starting the machining process. This is where it gets fun, right?
This is where it gets fun here, yeah. So after the parts are cut to size, they come through this area where they're actually starting to get sorted as to what types of parts they are. Parts that need to be assembled into a cabinet come over to this machine here. This is a vertical CNC. It's more of a modern type of machine. It takes up a smaller footprint. It moves very fast, and it's essentially like a robot in a cage. As you can see, it moves around in there. So thanks to our integrated system we discussed earlier, the employees are able to scan the part. It goes up onto our network, pulls down the CNC program, and then machines that part to be that assembled piece.
All right, I see assembly stuff coming together here.
So yeah, after we cut all the parts, after we band all the parts, after we machine all the parts, and we'll get to finishing a little later, but for the boxes themselves that make up your kitchen and make up your cabinets, we've kind of seen that process so far. And so we get them down to this station here, and this station here we have multiple of these machines. These are horizontal boring and dowel insertions. And so what we use for assembly is 8mm wood dowels, and as you can see, there are a lot of them in the cabinets. And so that is the strongest way to assemble a cabinet out there. There's a lot of methods these days, but these solid wood dowels that are glued into both sides and then clamped in there, we use water-activated glue, standard wood glue, and some pressure-activated stuff in there so that makes sure they're very structural. So in this area here, they do the horizontal boring on these machines. It inserts the dowel, and then they scan our manufacturing system, and it tells us here which one of these bins to put the parts in.
Oh, cool.
And so they go through, and until number 5 is full, it'll keep having folks put those parts in those bins right there. Now you'll see these walls are a pass-through right here. So our assembly tables being on the other side, they have a similar screen that shows them how the bins are filling up.
Nice.
Once this bin is full of all the parts for that cabinet you need, that bin turns green, and then our next team member knows they can pull that cabinet out and assemble it.
All right, box assembly, right?
Box assembly. So after all that process coming through here, the parts getting machined, banded, and cut, we get to here and we need to know we've got the whole part and how to put it together. And so with the software system here, as soon as one of the bins turns green, everyone is aware that they're ready to assemble that. And so folks are able to take the cabinet. When they scan that first part, the other screen pulls up with a 3-dimensional image of what your cabinet is going to look like. Cool. Any specialty instructions, and then we have all the other miscellaneous materials here, the drawer guides, that kind of stuff, we're actually putting on the cabinet itself on the box carcass.
That is great.
Everything is loosely fit together on our assembly tables here. These tables move up and down to get to the right area to comfortably work on.
Nice.
Once it's loosely assembled, they move into the clamps here. As you can see, we have multiple clamps. Now the reason for that is we want to make sure that we have enough capacity to push it through, but also so that we can judge which boxes are the best ones to move through to the next part of the system.
Got it.
You know, we don't want all wall cabinets, all drawer cabinets in there because that would kind of mess up our manufacturing process.
Yeah.
So these guys in here, I always think of them as kind of playing a symphony.
Yeah.
And so they have to build the cabinets that are going to best flow down from them the best. And the operator of the clamps up there is called the ringmaster because he's kind of responsible for the flow of the whole process here. So in this area, we make sure that when we're sending stuff into our constraint, which is finishing, that all the parts are here, they're all the correct size, and before they're finished, because as you know, wood is a very finicky material.
Oh man.
We make sure before they're finished that they all look fairly consistent. Yeah. So the doors, the drawer fronts, the moldings, the finished ends, we get them in here, we inspect them, we make sure everything looks really good, and then we put it all at the same time into finishing to get it done at the same time and not have parts going through in batches.
All right, I've spent a lot of time around a Ridgefield finishing system. This is awesome.
Well, this is one of our more fun machines as well. So again, with the consistency of finishing wood products, there's different ways of applying it. So you have spray stains, you have wipe stains, you have glazing, you have paint. There's just an unending list of variables as to how you can finish wood and what you can even finish. So for us, the majority of what we do for our markets is going to be a spray stain.
Yeah.
And with that spray stain, we're able to lay the stain right on top of the wood. We don't get as much of the variance and graining and whatnot as you will with the wipe stain.
No question.
So this machine is designed for this type of manufacturing process. And so it allows us to get the same belt speed, the same angle, the same pressure, the boot pressure, everything's exactly the same. Yeah. The spacing of the gun and the angle of the gun, all that's very important.
Yeah.
We're able to do that consistently day after day with this machine here. One other thing that we can do with this machine that's very cool is it has 7 high pressure pumps on here that go through, and then another circuit that will actually rotate what it's running. And so we can put about 10 colors in here throughout the day.
Nice.
So we start at the very beginning of the day and we do the lighter finishes and work our way up to the darker finishes.
Makes sense.
What we do is we actually reclaim the finish that goes out. We then take that finish and use it on the backs of our doors and our moldings to reclaim it on there to save. We're pretty environmentally friendly when it comes to the finishing process because it is the hardest on the environment here.
Absolutely.
We use all water-based finishes.
Yeah, which you guys have done for a very long time.
Very long time, and the rest of the industry is slowly moving over to it. Due to environmental regulations, and then just on people's understanding and the improvement in the technology of the product.
Absolutely.
A lot of the water-based finishes used to take a long time to dry, so they started using UV. Well, we don't even use the UV finish anymore. It's just infrared drying.
Yep.
We're able to put parts through these machines. They come out in just a few minutes and they're ready to handle.
All right, so we're getting towards the end of the finishing process.
We're getting towards the end, yeah. And so this machine, which looks similar to the other one, is actually very different in the application of what it does. And so, with wood finishing, you're either going to go, clear natural wood look, or you're going to put a pigmented finish on it.
Yeah.
And so for pigmented finishes, there's a bunch of different versions, but the idea is to either, dye or stain or completely cover that up with an opaque finish.
Yeah.
So once that's done, except for paint, you need to then seal that finish off and then put a top coat on it there.
Got it.
And so what this machine does specifically is it sprays a water-based seal coat that goes in, and wood and everything we paint involving that is a porous material.
Sure.
So whether it's an MDF, whether it's a solid wood, whether it's a veneer, there's a lot of pores in that material. And so the first coat that goes through here actually puts kind of a heavy coat on that, and once that dries, it has sealed that up. So then we take and we hand sand that first coat. It's called scuff sanding or denibbing sanding.
Yep.
And so that's put kind of a bit of a rough finish on the wood there. Once that's done, we put it back through here for at least one more top coat. Okay. And that's then called the top or finish coat that goes on the wood. That's the nice, clear, smooth coat you get. And so by the time we've done that, that's typically about the 4th coat we put just on that face of wood.
Nice.
You get there. And that then gives you the beauty of the wood, the beauty of the colorant we put on the wood or the opaque finish, and then that durable hard coating on there.
All right, now that looks like a cabinet.
It's finally a cabinet.
Yeah.
From all the parts and pieces. So we're still on the end of this assembly line here where we come down. The drawer department is located directly behind where the drawers actually go into the cabinet, so they're made in real time to go in. So the cabinet itself now is what you probably recognize. And one cool thing that we like about our manufacturing process and the product that we make is that not only there's no limits on kind of how cool you can get and how high-end you can get, but we build the spec, and so we build it specifically to what people need. Yeah. And so this product right here is most likely going into, you know, a really good, just kind of entry-level home
Yeah.
that, you know, the area needs a lot more of these days. That said, it's a very nice cabinet still.
Yeah.
It's a nice painted shaker door, but our customers have the choice to pick from multiple interior types. So you have 3 different interior types as to what this all looks like.
Yep.
Multiple types of actual drawer box. This is a really good butt jointed plywood drawer. Multiple types of the drawer guides itself.
Yep.
Multiple types of hinges. And so, and I've seen some of your videos on adjusting these. I wish everyone would watch them.
Thanks.
But we use Italian hinges in here. It's a Salici. Some people like Bloom, but it just kind of depends. And so we use the Salici hinges. They're fully adjustable, very easy to maintain. They pop right off on the cabinet if you need to. Easy, you know. It's kind of overlooked, but cabinetry is a pretty difficult product to actually manufacture because of all those variables and all those different types. You know, we could have literally every single day for 2 weeks this exact cabinet go through here, this exact same size. Every one could be different. Yeah. When it comes to the door style, the color, and our team would be able to put them all together just as efficiently.
Man, this has been a lot of fun checking out how you guys are building cabinets. Brian, thanks for having me out.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Eric.
What's the best way for people to track you down? Maybe they want to find a dealer or they're a builder wanting to find cabinets. What's the best place to find you?
Our website is the best place to look. We have a contact form on there and a lot of good information about the product and company, and that's RidgeCrestCabinets.com.
Nice, man. Thanks again. Beautiful cabinets made right here in the Pacific Northwest.